All right, bet.
All right.
Pineapple Gang, it's another wonderful day in Pineapple Paradise, man. It's Non-Fungible Wonderfull. And we are here with the real Randy Chavez, man.
What's going on, guys?
Hey, yo, I'm hyped for you to be here, man. I'm hyped for you to be here.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, I feel like, there's a lot about, OMI and Earth 2 that you have a lot of knowledge on. And, you have a different perspective than a lot of people because I feel like, you have a different insight about what this is going to be in the future. You've been kind of planning what you're going to do. And, it's like you have the same excitement that a lot of people have, but you always speak your mind about it. So I just want to start off with just, who are you? Give yourself an introduction and let people know who you are.
Yeah, sure. So, real Randy Chavez. After got out of the military in 2016, after one semester of community college, I opened up my own business in high risk lending underneath my friend Dan's company, underneath his umbrella. But I started putting money into high risk lending deals and started making a decent amount of return, like double what the S&P 500 gives you each year. And I would put check after check after check, a lot of money in there, literally living in like a small one room. I was sharing a bathroom with someone, but I was living in one room. That was my living quarters, just to save money because I knew I could do it. And then after a couple of years, started a Pokemon company, high risk or with high end collectibles. So I'm very well versed in the collectible industry. That's why I know Veve and OMI is going to be huge.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. So what got you into, looking into Pokemon, and why did Pokemon attract you so much to it?
Well, I mean, first off, I big nerd with the Pokeball tattoo.
Yeah, that's hard. That's hard.
Yeah, I just loved it growing up. One Saturday morning, I woke up, it was on TV. It's like, oh, this is awesome. And a bunch of friends got the games, and I got the games. Like for Christmas that year, it's like, oh, this is good. And even to this day, my favorite part of the gaming is not like beating the Elite Four. It's the beginning when you get Pokemon and you're leveling up and you're grinding. That's why I really love the idea of Earth 2 with mining everything, resources, and with Veve, like this is the beginning. Like this is we're in Pallet Town right now. We maybe ventured off into Viridian City where we can run into some wild Pokemon, but that's it. Like the best is yet to come. So
Yeah.
it's super early.
No, that's great. Yeah, and I agree, man. It's like the journey is always best when it's first starting off, when you're finally just like understanding the world. It's like even with Minecraft, like as a kid, I used to love Minecraft and Pokemon. I used to watch the Pokemon I had on VHS, but Minecraft was one of those games that really took me in and got me excited about, what the future would be of video games and like this whole metaverse. So when it comes to OMI, how did you find out about it and how invested are you into OMI?
Yeah, sure. So originally, back in December of 2020, I found Earth 2, and they had speculated, or they had teased a cryptocurrency that was going to go with the game, something that you could use to buy things in the game market. So I'm just racking my head trying to figure out what it is, and I was like, okay, well, is it? And I was like, Polkadot? Is it GoChain, VeChain? And then I was like, one of the cryptic messages that one of the developers, Shane, had left on his Twitter, one of his tweets, some of the capital letters seemed to spell out GoChain. So I'm like, okay, well, what's on GoChain? And then I find this thing called Veve, or this thing called OMI, and it's attached to Veve. I was like, oh my God, if this is like, I did not sleep that night. I went down the rabbit hole. This is, if Earth 2 is using OMI, I'm gonna poop a brick because it's already attached to something that I love. As soon as I saw Alfred Kahn was attached, I was like, oh my God. So I unfortunately didn't have a lot of money right there, so I could only invest a couple grand, which is probably a good thing because it was at 0.007 or 0.008 at the time, and so I couldn't even get like 1 million coins at the time. But now, a couple months later, I just reached the 10 million OMI mark 2 days ago.
Oh, that's great, man. That's great.
Found out that Earth 2 is not going to be using OMI, but it doesn't need to. It doesn't matter. OMI's great by itself.
Because I did see that the people behind Ecomi, they actually had an issue with the person in GoChain. I'm not sure exactly what it was, but that would be interesting to see if what coin will actually be used for Earth 2. And even though it's not OMI, it's still Earth 2 is still going to be something that is going to be huge.
Yeah.
So
part of the reason I'm selling one of these big Pokemon cards is, yes, for OMI and for Bitcoin, but also because I want to have like 30, 40, 50 grand to buy whatever crypto that Earth 2 comes out with, because that's going to moon right away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
So what do you think? When do you think OMI will actually go up? What do you have your price prediction for the year 2025 or 2030?
Okay, so this is actually contingent. I have it right now at 2026 at about $1. And the way I get there right now, before they announced that they were going to Immutable X and going on the Ethereum blockchain, and that they were going to leave a bunch of OMI on the table, have a mass burn event when they did that, the way I got to $1 was I figured by a bunch of exchanges and going on, having a bunch more drops, a bunch of burn days, that we would probably get to 10 cents by the end of the year, meaning my base case, and figure with mass adoption, especially after San Diego Comic-Con, going to other Comic-Cons next year, it might double and go to 20 cents by 2022. And then at that point, after we had a couple million users, it might grow by maybe 50% each year. So the end of 2023 would be about 30 cents. The end of 2024 would be about 45 cents. End of 2025 would be about 66, 67 cents, which would make the end of 2026 about $1 or 99 cents. So that's something that gave me that price line. Then after that, because we'll have an S-curve adoption. After that, we'll probably see a little bit of a tinker off. It probably won't go by 50%. It's very hard to grow that much each year. So for 2030, I would estimate maybe it triples in 4 years after that. So maybe $3. Yeah. But again, that's before this massive burn event that we don't know how many billions of OMI they're going to leave on the table. So I'm very excited about that.
Yeah, so with the burn event and, mass adoption, and I was also doing some research, and by 2026, they were actually saying, we might see our world's first trillionaire. And, the founders, they have, billions of tokens. So, by that time, it would make sense for the founders to even become billionaires off of such a massive project like this, and this is going to be so huge, especially with, the technology that's coming, the AR, the VR, once it's more popularized. Because right now, the more research I've been doing, this is, metaverses, VR, it's been here for a while. But now we're heading into that age where it's going to be on a larger scale because of things like, the virus and stuff like that.
Agreed 100%. We have, I believe that not only virtual real estate, and I guess we just talk about OMI right now, just NFTs, art, and virtual real estate are all such big mass things. I believe that they're tapping into first to market a multi-trillion-dollar industry, and they're going to get a big piece of that because they're the first to market of its kind. You have NBA Top Shot, which is just moments, which are fine. You have cards that have moments on it. I think actually in the future, Veveverse might have cards and virtual comic books as well, because a lot of what I've seen when I was when I go to comic book stores is people, they buy the physical comic, but they buy it just for the QR code. And even though I'm a little old school and I like to feel stuff in my hands, a lot of the younger generation, they just like to have it on the go, on their phone, not having to carry anything. So I believe that's something that, as I said, NFTs are the future. And again, it's a multi-trillion-dollar industry that they're disrupting in. And by 2026, or even later this decade, I feel like altcoins that have $1 trillion value or more will be not the norm, but you'll see a lot more than just Bitcoin. You'll probably have Ethereum, Cardano, and not saying that OMI will have $1 trillion worth of value. I don't know how many tens or hundreds of billions it would be, but it just won't be that uncommon at that time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, we're going to see a lot of growth. And I feel like, OMI, man, they have positioned themselves as more of a platform, because at first I thought, they were the creators of the collectibles. And even though they are behind it and making sure everything is created the right way, they are serving as a platform for digital collectibles, digital art, music, gaming, virtual land. So it's so many different aspects that they're on that it's just like, it's amazing to see. And I can't wait till we see it unfold. So do you what are your thoughts on like NFT gaming?
I haven't gone down the rabbit hole too much with that, but on some speculation, I think on Cavell Anderson's page, or even on them themselves from Veve, the developers said it would be pretty boring after a while if all this thing that you had was just being able to show off NFTs in a showroom. So being able to go and have them interact with each other, have Superman and Batman swap capes, have these things that are interchangeable, would be really fun. And they are a couple of years away from that, but that's one of the things that a lot of people, I feel like, aren't factoring into the potential price in the future. They just see the sale of NFTs and they just see one drop a week. I feel like they're not factoring in the fact that eventually, mid 2020s, you're probably going to see Optimus Prime riding on a T-Rex from Jurassic Park,
word.
Scream from Transformers, and Rainbow Dash from My Little Pony, and again, just having eventually the Veveverse with the virtual real estate. I love the potential. So whatever it comes out with, I'm very, very excited for.
Yeah, man, for sure. And I'm glad that you brought that part up. It's like in the future, so many things are going to be able to collab and like be merged together that we just would have never expected. And that's kind of like the idea of the metaverse, And I remember one day in your live, we were talking about games like Club Penguin, Neopets, and these were like the original ones that were kind of just paving the way for like a lot of that online community and so many different aspects just in one world.
Yeah, those are the OGs. And people even still, like Club Penguin stuff that were made for kids, you did have like the 4chan group and everyone in there, make it really adult.
yeah
X-rated. So not that I want to see Veve go down like that, but I can picture a lot of memes being born from some stuff that people are doing on there, which is half the fun. Which is why I like Earth 2. Also, just the potential, people's creativity. It's like having a Green Lantern ring, just unlimited to your imagination.
So now I kind of want to talk about more of like the Earth 2, and why do you think so many people are saying Earth 2 is a scam, Earth 2 is not real, and what is your say to that, to people who are doubting? Because I personally think that Earth 2 is something that is being worked on, something that is being developed.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of reasons. One, there's a lot of impatience, where even a lot of people on our side that were so pro Earth 2 a few months ago, they were told that phase 2 is going to be here, the first half of 2020, and then we had a tweet saying, 2021, and then we got a tweet saying it should be out by like February something. But because something good happened where they were able to get either a crypto or be on a certain blockchain, they had to rewrite a lot of the code and they had to delay it a couple months. And again, people like that instant gratification, and it just didn't happen. So they hopped on to like, oh, it's a scam. It's hard. But a lot of what I think is really good video editing on the part of the haters, them taking older information, which was true back, in January or December at one point, saying it takes a little while to withdraw funds, and obviously now it takes between 24 and 48 hours to withdraw. But they take old information and the based on the terms of service and the way they skew it, they do make it look like a scam, the same way that conspiracy theorists can put all of these facts together and make it look like, oh, something might have happened here, like to make people think that. Which I'm not saying that some conspiracy videos aren't true. A lot of them are, but that's just what they do. And again, these guys have a vested interest in making content, just because that's how they get a little bit of money. And you have some feuds going on between the two. But as far as people comforting, I've already put not a ton in, maybe about 12 grand in, and I'll continue to, like I said, I'm selling this big card so I could have at least 20, 30 grand just to put into the crypto when it comes out. So there's a lot of people that just don't even pay attention to the naysayers.
Yeah, and I feel like a lot of the people who follow you, a lot of the people who are on your channel, they have a positive mindset towards it. I looked at somebody like Aria Realty, and this dude, he just gets so much hate. He gets so much, people are on his page just destroying him about this. But, he's keeping the faith, and he's, telling people that, this is not a scam. This is something that is going to be here long term. And, even with OMI and Ecomi, there's a lot of times where somebody might be, oh, they're scamming. But with a project this big and the development that needs to happen, it takes a while. Sometimes they might say, oh yeah, this is coming out in May, but it has to get pushed back because there's so many underlying factors that affect that.
Yeah, I love that. I love the again, I think that partly has to do a little bit with immaturity. Maybe some people aren't that new. They're very new to investing, so they see these things like Shiba coin or Elon Dolar Space Moon, stuff that goes like 100x overnight, not realizing that they're pump coins, but they see all the gains that people make, not seeing the downside of that. And they want that instant gratification, things to go their way. And a lot of people try to pontificate on their hill, saying like, well, if this was a real project, real money in it, I would be making money right away. But I smile every time where they do miss a deadline, because that shakes out a lot of paper hands, that makes the price go down, which allows me to buy more at a cheaper price. So the fact that they were supposed to be on a new exchange in May and they're not, and they said they'll do a buyback in June, whether they do it or not, I'm kind of hoping that they don't have it by June, so that again, people, just a lot of FUD comes out, the fear, uncertainty, and doubt, and then those of us that are viewing this in the long term will be able to go and buy it at a much cheaper price.
Yeah, man, for real. And I honestly, I've been doing a lot of research on OMI and Ecomi, and I even see like a lot of their plans were for 2019. If you look at their Medium articles, this is all for like 2 years ago. And like I said, for these type of projects, it takes a while. Sometimes your deadlines just can't be reached, and months are pretty short. It's only 30 days in a month, and so much stuff could happen in between that. But with the Veveverse, do you see any parallels between like the Veveverse and Earth 2?
Yeah, I see a lot of them. Both of them got their inspiration from Ready Player One. So both of them want to eventually have that in their own type of universe. Obviously, Veve has a Veveverse, and Earth 2 has a really innovative 1-to-1 map of Earth scale. I mean, Veveverse is not taking a page, but they are following a lot of the rest of the crowd, like My Neighbor Alice or Decentraland, where they have their own universe, but in their own universe. Yeah. Kind of like Minecraft or Roblox or whatever. But Earth 2 has just a 1-to-1 map of Earth, which nobody's done yet, to my knowledge. Yeah. Or they were the first to do it. There's a couple of copycats out there.
I heard of Super World.
I don't even know. I think V Park, and there's Meta Earth. There's a bunch of them. So that's probably similar. Yeah. But also, what I went over yesterday, some things that they have is data collection, which I don't think people are really paying attention to. Data collection for Earth 2, saying that, okay, well, where are the most popular places in the world? And right now they really only have English-speaking people that they can go off of, because the game's not translated yet. Yeah. But eventually they'll start getting where's the most popular places, and that'll determine where I don't know where they can sell that or whatever. But Veve, the same thing. They've said they only have content for 5 or 6 years, for drops, but I think that's a lie. I think they have decades worth of content, because just from again, they haven't introduced, or they haven't said officially announced Marvel, Disney, Pokemon, or whatever. But let's just go with Star Trek and Hasbro, where you have My Little Pony and you have G.I. Joe. DreamWorks has Shrek. So they have so many things that they could do for years of one drop each. And after that, they could, with all that data collection, they could say, okay, well, this many people like this many people like this, and then afterwards they could go, like I said, years without doing doubles. But they've already proved that they have like 5 or 6 Batman drops available. Yeah. So if they do that with every single one, I think they have multiple decades worth of product that they could drop, and that data collection is very, very useful.
Yeah, for sure. And I know that they even said Roger Cohen, their brand partner, they're going to be doing a lot of targeted ads towards, different fan groups. And like you said, with a lot of these different brands, you got so many different subcultures underneath these, so many different TV shows, like multiple, for each brand. So it's like the possibilities of what they can do for the next 10 years, 20 years is ridiculous. That's why like these early drops right now are just like priceless, you know. So, you know, we have a Superman drop coming up this Thursday. Like, how do you feel about the Superman one?
I love it. I did a post. I took a screenshot of David Yoon's his one of his Instagram videos that showed it. So I took a screenshot and I put it on just on YouTube, just a post, and said like, "This is what we got, boys, on Thursday." And then one of the comments was just like, "It looks like poop. I don't like it." I was like, okay. So, but I'm very I was so taken back by that because it's the first drop that we're getting. Like, I think people just don't understand that this is even though it's in the second season of drops, it's the first appearance of Superman. So you have like people in the Pokemon industry or people in comic books in general that even though, let's say, it's not the first issue in the first batch, if it's the first appearance of someone, like let's say the first appearance of Wolverine or the first appearance of, you know, like a Gengar, they're going to go nuts for that because it's the first appearance of it. So the first appearance of Superman as this type of NFT, I don't know if he's been made an NFT beforehand or not, but or at least not officially, not officially like licensed by these guys. That's going to carry a lot of weight in the future. Like that comic book, the first one where Superman died. Spoilers, right? One hasn't. That's a Superman. That was worth. God, I don't know how much. Like you could put kids through college with that in the future.
Wow,
I mean, obviously it'll take 20 years, but yeah, that was something that was a cultural event. So I think this is something that the first of something like this with mass adoption coming. So again, like you said, they haven't even started advertising yet, which I think is very good. They haven't had a, you know, they're not wasting any money on that. All of that can go right back into doing whatever they please.
Like they really had like such a word of mouth project that at the beginning it was literally, hey, check this app out because this app is gonna make you rich in the future. Like this app, they're doing something with NFTs that nobody is doing. This is digital collectibles. And what I like about, you know, their drops now is they're based directly off of the real sculptures that were made into the physical collectibles, you know. So these hold a lot of weight because now these are like the scanned in pieces of all of these original works. So I don't think that all of them will be able to be, you know, animated in the future because some of them just might be a collectible, but they might release another Superman that actually has a wireframe that you can do certain things with, you know. And yeah, I'm excited. I feel like this first edition right now is about to be crazy. Like you already know that this drop about to sell out in like 2 seconds. Like they have the fastest sellouts of like all time.
Yeah, it's insane. I haven't been able to get an ultra rare yet.
Yeah, me either.
Yeah, and that's obviously a good thing because you have so much demand for things. And the same way I see in Pokemon, I see it in Veve. I see people posting pictures where they have like a dozen Supergirls and a couple dozen Batmans. Like, oh yeah, I see parallels with this as well. Because like even me, Blaine's Charizard, you know, the Gym Challenge series where you had the gym trainers Pokemon. I thought that was really cool because you have the stuff that you can find in the game or the anime or the manga. Now you could own that specific card. So I would get a couple of them, and I see that in here as well. People get multiple different ones.
Yeah.
So we're selling out just with the few amount of people we have now. In a few years, when we have millions of people, it's you know, these are going to be so scarce. That's why I hope they make a lot more of them, so they can fill that demand.
Yeah, I think that in the future, we're going to see a lot higher mint amounts. But they also said that we're going to see like one of ones and things like that, which would be good because that would just be crazy. And the auctions and bids that will go on for that would just be wild in terms of OMI burn, and major corporations might even start getting on this, especially when AR starts to be more in everyday life. And they also have like a lot more digital screens that are being made for people to showcase their NFTs and stuff like that.
Yeah, the one of ones, or even stuff like one of 100. One of 100 or one of those things. Like, they had a Slimer giveaway? It was like one of what, 37?
No, well, I think the Slimer might have a high mint number. It might have a high mint amount, but they were just giving away the first 37 and they gave
Got
out
it.
number 40. But
Okay.
it's a common, so it might be like a lot more.
Got it. All right, disregard. But that's something where if you have something one of 100 or one of one, you're going to see six figures easy for those
Yeah,
because they're so rare. And again, you don't have to worry about, especially for the lower serial numbers, you don't have to worry about them being damaged. They're mint forever.
yeah,
But if you have something that's one of one, where there's only one of them, God, add a zero to that, possibly seven figures, and especially if it's a good drop. Again,
yeah,
we've seen that we've seen that in a lot of other places. So that's something I'm very excited for.
yeah, man. Have you ever heard of Metacoven?
Refresh my memory. I'm not 100% sure.
So Metacoven is the person who bought Beeple's NFT work. He originally bought the first pieces for like the 2.2 million, and then he bought the 5,000 every days for 69 million. And
Yes,
I looked into
I remember because of 69. I was like, nice.
yeah. And I started looking into what he does, and right now he's building a museum in Decentraland and putting a lot of those art pieces in there. What do you see being the future of like digital businesses within Earth 2 and within like these type of metaverses?
Sure. It might have been the same article. I don't know if it was on CoinDesk, where somebody had spent $750,000 for virtual land so they could build a virtual mall. And we had somebody was on CNBC a couple months ago. I was still working, so it was probably in February or March, early March, where they said they were trying to make an ETF, trying to get a hedge fund ready specifically for virtual real estate. Because it makes sense when you have things that in the real world, if I were to try to build a mall, you have to hire a reputable construction company, someone that hopefully will build it on time and under budget. Hopefully, a lot of people when I would do high risk lending, a lot of people in the construction industry, they have a lot of issues. Like people don't show up. They have people that have addictions, they have problems. But damn if they can't swing a hammer.
Yeah.
But I would much rather do that. Spend as much, if not double, in virtual reality, in virtual real estate, so that I don't have to worry about cost overruns and all that. Weather permitting, and God forbid something like COVID happens, where again where people aren't allowed to go and I lose so much money. Virtual reality is much safer in my opinion because anyone can go there from anywhere in the world.
Yeah.
You're not limited to the demographic of the 20, 40 mile area. The only limit is people that know about it. And what I would say to Earth 2 and the Veve collectibles, they're very good on social media, very good about answering questions. But a great way to free advertise is to take their products and try to make viral TikTok videos, Instagram videos, stuff on Facebook. But again, they have a lot of us doing that for them, so I guess they don't need to, right?
Yeah.
But I see people rise of a bunch of millionaires and 100,000aires coming from the sale and renting of their virtual real estate.
Yeah, definitely. And yeah, I like what you said even about the construction and everything. And that also opens up a whole new market of, digital and virtual land construction workers or people who are architects in the digital world and can build different buildings and structures and, different ways for people to move around, in the digital land.
I also see, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, you go.
I also see in conjunction with that the rise of virtual real estate agents as well. People that are so engrossed in what people are building, and there's going to be a market for that. People's like, hey, I'm looking for this type of space. What do you have for me? And say, oh, I know the perfect space. And even if it's something that doesn't exist yet, be like, well, I know someone that's good virtual architecture. They could build that for you. And again, you don't have to worry about electricity. You don't have to worry about plumbing or rent, cost, overhead. You pay it once and that's it.
Yeah. So what exactly is Earth Phase 2 and Earth 2?
Sure. Well, it's going to be coming out in different parts. The first part of it will be resources. There's only 8 of them right now. There's freshwater, there's sand, limestone, ore, wood, gold, coal, and oil. So there's only 8 right now, but there is going to be some, and every tile is going to produce something. But there are a couple of tiles that won't produce anything. Those tiles that aren't producing anything, you want to keep those because they're going to produce something much rarer in the future.
Mm.
But right now it's just mining resources. We're going to get something called essence as well, which is going to be used to build things and to, if you have tiles over here and you want to move them over here, you can do that. You just have to pay some essence. And they said something about something called Jewel, where Jewel, like the Jewel Blitz, it's we're not sure what it is yet. They haven't mentioned it. It's possible that that could be our crypto. We already have a stable coin in Earth 2. It's just known as E-dollars, where one E-dollar is similar to one US dollar, the same as one gem is similar to $1 in Veve. And you're going to be able to build buildings, and I don't know if you're going to be able to chat with other people inside the game, but a potential for it, I don't know if later on in phase 2 or early phase 3, they want to basically have it as a social media platform, want to have it as a bank, which I think Veve could do as well. So phase 2, you're just starting out with the resources and mining and possibly building later in phase 2. So.
All right, yeah, that sounds lit. That sounds lit. So, you know, these are the closing remarks. So, you know, if you have anything that you want to say about what Veve or Ecomi could do to better their platform, or even Earth 2 can do to, you know, make a better change, what do you think those type of things would be?
For each, I guess 3 things. 2 of which I think we already went over. One is just try to make viral content on other platforms. Like I said, it's for free. And the other one would be to just keep doing what they're doing as far as being active on social media, listening to their people, just doing what Tesla does and Elon Musk, and just listening to people what they want, what chief complaints are, and that's a great way to fix it. They're both really good at being small companies where if a problem arises, they want to do something, they can do it right away. The advantage they have over the big companies. And I think the other thing, which I know Ecomi definitely does, but if they would have at least 1 or 2 people watch every single piece of content that is created that's not from them, like us, and just relay back what people are saying about them, I think that's something that would be beneficial to them in the short and the long run. To have a team of people who watch content, so that if they're listening.
Right. Yeah. So this was a great talk. I definitely am going to be joining you live soon, and I'm glad we were able to talk about this. And I can't wait to see what unfolds in the next couple of months with Veve and Earth 2 in the next couple of years. We're definitely going to be in contact, but these next couple of months are very crucial for a lot of these NFT platforms because of what has been going on in the media and just the world right now.
Yeah, and to the investors out there, some people like me got in at 0.007 or 0.008 and are down like 75-80%. A word to the wise from E-Trade. E-Trade had a study done a couple of years ago saying, okay, well, who's the type of person that makes the most money? And it wasn't day traders. It wasn't people that were new or that were actively trading. It had been people that had died because they had bought stocks and they couldn't trade because they had passed away. And the ones that hodled were the ones that were the most successful. So when in doubt, just hodl. When in doubt, zoom out, see what they're doing previously. That they're already at a penny. So my bear case is 3 to 6 cents by the end of the year, which is, again, it's my bear case. So.
Yeah, that's great, man. And I like that advice because, patience is key. And whether you bought in at 1 cent, whether you bought in at 0.002 cents, we're still very early. We're seeing a lot of, history being made right now in the NFT space and Veve, so I think that we have a long road ahead of us, and, we're going to be in this project for a while, and the world's going to change along with it. So I'm excited for everything that's coming, man.
Yeah, I can't wait. This is going to be, I think, Internet 2.0, different social media platform, and basically also a bank as well, because you have your gems, you have your OMI, so this be very, very huge.
Yeah, people could have their online banks. I didn't even think about that. Like, that could be something that's a whole new market, especially with all these different cryptos. And if you're even able to use these cryptos in these virtual lands as well, that would be wild.
Yeah, I can't wait. Square's already done some pretty disruptive things with that, just giving people that can't afford bank accounts, because you have to have a certain amount of money to keep it in there. But Square doesn't care. They just give them a routing number and account number, and serving the underserved. So that's what I think these guys can do as well. If you have money in there, then you don't need a bank account. So
Yeah,
that's something I
definitely.
really like. Anyway, thank you so much for having me on.
Hey,
Everyone
no
say goodbye
problem.
to Dad.
Hey, peace out, peace out.
All right, have a good one.
All right.